Few seconds away from taking the field. Cliff Lee has made his way into the dugout, and he's taken the jacket off. Carlos Ruiz followed suit. They're going up and down the dugout, just greeting their teammates. Dominic Brown, of course, with 19 home runs now, and with that RBI last night, has raised his RBI total to 49. And he is making a bid to be part of this year's All-Star game in New York City. He's going to need some help. He's currently ranked 14th among National League outfielders, which is odd. But you have to imagine that his year has kind of surprised everyone outside of Philadelphia, and probably even folks in Philadelphia too. But he certainly showed last night that he's starting to make some adjustments and had a couple of hits, including that game winner. So you heard, here we go. And now the Phillies will take the field as Michael Young leads the charge out onto the diamond. Here comes Cliff Lee, who's trying for his 9th win of the season. Let's take a look at the Nationals starting lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Denard Span leads it off at center field. Anthony Rendon, the second baseman, bats second. Ryan Zimmerman hits third, followed by Jason Worth and Adam LaRoche. Ian Desmond, the shortstop, bats sixth. Kurt Suzuki, seventh. Steve Lombardozzi's in left field again. He'll bat eighth. And batting ninth at pitching is left-hander Ross Detweiler, who's making just his second start since coming off the disabled list. Cliff Lee, meanwhile, is making his 15th start. He's been the Phillies' best pitcher from the start of the season till now. 89 strikeouts and 102 in the third innings.
Just outstanding numbers. The walk-strikeout ratio there, only 5 home runs allowed, and 83 hits on 102 in the third innings. He has really limited base runners. He pitches quick games. He controls the tempo of the game as you look at the Budweiser scouting report on him. Career-wise against these guys, he is 5-3. He pitched the final game of the season last year at Washington, and Phillies lost that game before they headed out to their winter vacations that they really didn't want to go to that early.
You know, the Nationals have homered in 80 consecutive series, which is the longest in D.C. baseball history. Cliff Lee has allowed only 2 home runs in 128 at-bats by the Nationals. That's a pretty impressive number.
Well, time now for our Nissan Keys to tonight's game. We're going to get underway here with a light rain falling at Citizens Bank Park. Wind blowing a little bit in or towards the left field corner. Well, when you're facing Ross Detweiler, you just look for fastballs. We'll talk about that when he gets out there. But he throws a lot of them. Score some runs for Cliff Lee and Hamels and these guys, and try to make it so that every pitch and every inning there's not so much anxiety involved.
Well, the crowd is settling back in. A lot of the folks really never left their seats while the rain was falling. It was never that hard. In fact, about 10 minutes ago was the hardest the rain has fallen since they put the tarp on the field. So we're ready to go. Cliff Lee has been waiting for a while, as everybody else has. This delay is about an hour and 10 minutes old. Carlos Ruiz has certainly been waiting for his chance to get back in the lineup and contribute. Denard Span will start things off for the Nationals. A .256 hitter, no home runs, and 18 runs batted in. Ted Barrett says play, so here we go. And we're underway, and it's a no ball, 1 strike count to Denard Span. Span did not start last night's ball game. He's been fouling some balls off his foot. And his foot was a little sore, and he was struggling against left-handers, so Davey Johnson gave him last night off against John Lannon. But he's back in there against a lefty tonight. Officially a 1 hour and 10-minute delay. And a ground ball to first. That's a fair ball. Ryan Howard will just walk it to the bag. 1 out. 3 pitches, 3 strikes from Cliff Lee.
That's what you expect from Cliff Lee, to come out and throw strikes. He just been a machine this year when you think about how well this guy has pitched. A lot of fastballs too in his last few games. Sometimes he gets in trouble with too many fastballs in the zone, but his fastball command has been unbelievable, so he really hasn't thrown as many cutters and changeups, even curveballs, as you may expect from him in other games.
Well, go to work against Anthony Rendon, who was 0 for 3 with a run scored in yesterday's game. He walked in the first and came around to score.
And they have to have seen all these reports on Lee, the way he's pumping the zone with fastballs, and you would think they'd get up there and they'd be swinging early at him, and just to see if they can get a fastball early and do some damage.
Good thing is with his fastball, it's unlike some others where he'll move it around the strike zone.
That's what he does, Tom. He's surgical with it, and when he's on, he can hit his spots with anybody. Now they're going to go outside. Just in on the first one, and they go away on the second one.
And that one just missed. It's the first ball of the night. Interesting to see what difference the pitchers will feel with Carlos Ruiz back and hopefully healthy. In the dirt, 2-1. I think at the start of the year we talked about Carlos's suspension and wondered what kind of an impact it would have on the pitchers or on the team offensively. But there's no doubt there's a comfort level that he's built up with all of these guys, with the exception of maybe Pettibone and Lannon. Swing and a miss, 2-2.
See him cut that one a little bit. That thing came from the outside, towards the outside corner, and like Rendon just, I don't know what kind of swing that was at. It was like a 2-strike swing.
Same swing, first strikeout, and there are 2 away. It was the same swing and the same exact velocity and location.
Yeah, he had this 2-strike swing was kind of strange because it was so defensive, and then now you're a little more defensive with 2 strikes, and he went out there again and got it.
During the 2013 season, Turkey Hill will contribute $100 for each Phillies victory and 5 cents for each carton of Phillies Grand Slam ice cream, sold to support the Phillies youth baseball and softball programs. Ryan Zimmerman is 3 for 18 lifetime. Well, make that 4 for 19 lifetime against Cliff Lee.
That's what we're talking about when he throws a lot of cutters and fastballs. Hitters like Zimmerman, they're going to do their homework. They'll come up there and swing early and try to put a ball in play right away before Lee can start working on them. Worth is always interesting to see because he'll almost always take the first pitch and then once in a while play possum on somebody. And a Lee would be the kind of guy he would do it on because he might go after something early.
Well, he averages 4.4 pitches per plate appearance. Talked last night about the fact that he usually does take pitches, and when he was with the Phillies, he was the most patient hitter they had.
Yeah, that's why they'll throw him first ball fastballs a lot of times, just like that. And when he was with the Phillies, sometimes you go, gee, right down the middle with a fastball. But Jason's always been very confident in his ability to work the count.
No balls, 1 strike. High fastball, cut out and missed.
He's late on that. That's a pitch he really doesn't hit real well either. Is the one way up, the high fastball. Low ball hitter. You see, they ought to maybe think about something else now. 3 straight fastballs about the same spot and the same velocity. And he was right on the third one.
He threw another fastball and he hits it into the upper deck. It remains 0-2. Mick Billmeyer throwing down the signs to Ruiz when it comes to the running game, letting Carlos know whether he wants him to throw over or not. There's a pretty simple sign right there.
It may have been you got it. You got this one. You're on your own.
Cliff with 5 wins overall. That's part of the reason what you just saw. And he gets the curveball for Jason Wirth to hit it to Michael Young. He goes the short way to second, and the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. We go to the bottom of the first. It's the Nationals 0 and the Phillies coming up. take a look at Charlie Manuel's starting lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity. Your home for the most live sports. Leading it off in center field, Ben Revere. Michael Young bats second. Jimmy Rollins hits third, followed by Ryan Howard and Dominic Brown. Delman Young once again makes the start in right field. He'll bat sixth. Kevin Franzen at second base. That's seventh. And Carlos Ruiz back in the lineup, activated from the disabled list. He'll hit eighth, and batting ninth and pitching is Lee. And they'll face 27-year-old left-hander Ross Detweiler, a former first-round pick, who's making just his 10th start of the year because he had an oblique strain that sent him to the disabled list when the Phillies were in Washington earlier this season.
See the numbers on him. A lot of hits. Doesn't walk many batters. Not a big strikeout guy. What he does is throw two-seam and four-seam fastballs over and over and over. There's a Budweiser scouting report, and he has a good fastball, the two-seamer sinker and the four-seamer also. He does have curve and changeup. Doesn't throw them much. Lifetime against the Phillies. Record at 2-4, a 4.24 earned run average. His last game started here as he lost a game last year in September by a score of 6-3 here.
Well, he's very tough against left-handers. The last home run he allowed against a left-hander was on June 8th of last season. But he was firing last year. His fastball was really good last year.
147 at bats by left-handed hitters without a homer against him.
Ben Revere leads it off. Revere's hit in 8 consecutive games. And he had a big hit last night in the bottom of the ninth inning to get that rally started. That was followed 2 batters later by Jimmy Rollins' base hit that sent Revere over to third.
Charlie was talking to him before the game about all that stuff that was going on. He says, yeah, it entered their mind about giving him a stop at first because they figured they walk Rollins. But then they decided to let Revere do what he wanted to do. And then he did run a couple times. Balls were fouled off. And then he was running when Jimmy hit the base hit the left field and he could get the third on.
And then he scored on the base hit by Dominic Brown, and the Phillies and their fans went home happy. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Revere. That was something slow, and it's lifted towards center field. Span is out there.
That was a non-fastball. It was a curveball, looked like. Something slow, as you said.
That'll bring Michael Young to the plate. We showed that young lady earlier. She came all the way from Texas to see Michael Young. I think she bought a University of Pennsylvania hat too while she was here. Michael Young takes a strike. It's 0-1. Young was 1 for 5 in last night's ball game. The one was a triple to center field. Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Elizabeth Boyle of Clifton Heights, Pennsylvania. Phillies hit a home run in tonight's ball game, and Lizzie will win $100. Back toward the middle, caught out of the air by Detweiler. Wow, he just robbed Michael Young of a base hit.
It almost looked like he stepped aside and reached down and caught that, or maybe it was his follow through and he just got lucky. He's smiling about it because he knows he did not want that off his belly. Here it comes, right back at him. Does he see it? Well, yeah, sort of. I mean, he did step aside a little bit and put his hand down, and right there, he actually looked that into the glove. The more you watch it, that was a heck of a play.
It was. Jimmy Rollins is the hitter. Rollins 1 for 4 in yesterday's game. Grounder left side. Zimmerman picks it up, spins, and makes a clean throw, and the side is retired. Phillies go down in order in their half of the first. 1 in the books. On to the second we go, and Cliff Lee will head back to work. Tickets by going to Phillies.com. Tomorrow's starting pitchers will be Gio Gonzalez against Kyle Kendrick. Phillies have an off day on Thursday, and then the Mets come to town on Friday. Stop by the ticket office tomorrow, or as we always say, 24/7, Phillies.com. Well, the rain continues to fall here at Citizens Bank Park, but it is clearing a little bit as we look over left field. They had the report that the showers might continue for a little bit, but that it would get clearer as the night went on. Adam LaRoche leads it off, and he swings at the first pitch, and it's 0-1.
Well, it's the type of rain that they play through. They just didn't want to start the game and then have it be delayed if they could avoid it. And the teams don't want that, because then you may lose your starting pitcher.
There was one thunderstorm, one cell that they were worried about. That's why they waited, just from the radar standpoint. Curveball, and it's 1 strike.
Because the rain that fell here, for the most part, they would have played through it if the game had started.
Popped him up. Ruiz off with the mask into foul territory. Has it sized up for the first out. Well, there's no doubt Carlos has had an impact on this team the last several years. His impact for the first few years was defense more than offense. Last year, he kind of turned the corner offensively. I think, though, Murph, the defense is an important part of his transition back into this lineup.
Well, there's no doubt about it, and that's exactly what his manager said today. Charlie Manuel asked, what he expects out of Carlos Ruiz, what he's hoping to see, and he said, first and foremost, defensive catcher. He said he wants Carlos back there the way he's always been, blocking balls down in the dirt, calling a good game, handling the staff. That is the most important thing that he can do right now. You talked about him batting eighth and, slowly working back into the offense. Charlie said, you know what, he's going to get his hits. He's going to get some big hits for us. But right now, if he does his job defensively, that's what they need.
Well, I couldn't agree more. We've even talked to Rich Doobie about that during spring training. We all got a chance to sit around a table and discuss a number of things, and that was one of the topics with his 25-game suspension. And nobody would be able to foresee the disabled list, but his 25-game suspension, what kind of impact his defense missing from the lineup would have on the staff. And they all agreed it would, there would be a transition.
Well, interesting to watch him right there take charge. The way you guys are talking about taking charge of the game, he gave the old shake to Cliff Lee, and that's what you want a pitcher to do, shake, and it confuses the hitter because they have a feeling, well, now he's shaking, so he's getting all fastball going to something else, and you may come right back with fastball then after you shake, and that's what catchers will do with pitchers when they have a feel for something.
And a called strike 3. Ian Desmond was fooled, strangely enough, by the location of that fastball, and there are 2 outs.
Well, as we said, with that little shake at some point during the count, veteran pitcher and catcher can really confuse a hitter with that, and you just have to know when to do it. That pitch is right there, and Desmond knew it.
Now with 2 outs, Kurt Suzuki, who had 2 hits yesterday, will be the batter for the Nationals. The 2 hits for Suzuki last night ended an 0-for-15 stretch for him.
And this guy wasn't known as a big-time offensive guy with Oakland. Then he came over here last year, got some big hits for Washington down the stretch to help them win games.
They do feel like they miss Wilson Ramos, though, who is more of an offensive-minded catcher, particularly against left-handed pitching, because the Nationals are hitting just .212 against left-handed pitching this year.
Well, you do some things with LaRoche and Harper, and maybe turn an Espinosa around right-handed, even though he's hurt now.
0-2 pitch. Fly ball out towards shallow center field. Revere got a late start, but he's able to corral it, and the inning is over. Nationals go down in order, and they're half of the second. Cliff Lee makes quick work of them, so we go to the bottom of the second. 3-game series. A night game, a day game, and then another day game. The Sunday game at 1:35 first pitch. All fans 14 and under will receive the IBEW Local 98 Cliff Lee t-shirt. That's right. It's free to all fans 14 and under.
That is the Hollies version of Purple Rain, not Buddy Holly. Buddy didn't do that song.
It is different than Prince's.
A little different.
Yeah.
Fade to, there we go. Like an old DJ, huh?
Spinning records, Wheels? Spinning 45s?
A little bit in college. Not real well.
Ryan Howard leads it off. It takes high. It's 1-0. Howard homered last night. He has 37 career home runs against the Washington Nationals. 8 overall this year, 36 runs batted in. Fly ball out to left field. Lombardozzi comes in. And 4 up, 4 down for Ross Detweiler. That ball was hit way up there. Lombardozzi's looking up in the raindrops. Into the lights. An infielder turned into an outfielder.
Yeah, that's actually a good sign. You see the rain and the lights like that, and it always looks worse than it is. And, you know, it doesn't even look that bad. It's a light rain right now, and if we can just keep it this way, we'll get through this game.
I want to remind you, Wheels, that you are tucked in a press box, so it doesn't look that bad to you.
As we've said many times, it's always a little drier in here.
Dominic Brown takes strike 1.
But it always looks a lot worse when you're looking at the lights like that.
Topper right at the mound. Detweiler off the hill quickly. And there are 2 outs. That's a little different than the play earlier today in Atlanta. Matt Harvey was working on a no-hitter for the New York Mets. And is it Jason Hayward that hit a ball up the first base line? Harvey came off the mound kind of like Detweiler did. Fielded it, spun, threw to first, and nobody was covering.
It was a really nice flip he made, too. It was right on the bag, except the problem was due to chase the ball also.
Right.
So there's nobody there but the umpire.
Well, that turned out to be the first hit of the day, and the Braves did get a couple more. They made it a close game.
You get into a no-hitter situation like that, too. There's a lot of pressure on the official scorer. Really, yeah. You've talked to scorers over the years about it, and that one was one of those ones like, what else can I call it? It's a hit.
A 1 pitch to Young. Fly ball right center field. Jason Worth calls off Denard Smith. Oh, and he looked at Span to see where he was, and he was able to cover his ground and make the catch. And the side is retired. 1, 2, 3 go the Phillies. Well, this is not about unfamiliar surroundings. He was just wondering where his center fielder was. But Jason Worth was able to react and put an end to the bottom of the second. question. Log on to Phillies.com. Go to the fans section for all the information. And please submit your answer on the subject line. Wheels, I would be a point guard in this situation. You would be going fast break because I would be dishing off an assist for an easy layup for you. What 3 positions did Nats manager Davey Johnson play for the Phillies during the 77 season?
I don't think that's that easy.
Come on.
One of them is.
You don't remember the 77 season?
Yeah, but I don't remember every position the guy played.
I only asked you for 3, Wheels. 3 and only 3.
We got a shot. He's not pitchers and not catchers, so 3 out of 6. 7, that would be.
Mm-hmm. You're off to a good start.
Yeah, but that may be my best bolt right there.
Lombardozzi leads it off and takes a strike to the knees. Lombardozzi 2 for 4 yesterday. "22 strikes, 4 balls so far for Cliff Lee for a total of 26 pitches. Ground ball left to the mound. Lee quickly off the hill, has to hurry the throw and throws a strike. Man.
He's such a good athlete. Does everything right on that play. Reads a little dribbler coming out to him that it's his play. Make sure his feet are set on a wet field. Under control. Look how under control he is when he gets to this ball. Has his feet set, reaches in, grabs a wet baseball, as you said, fires a strike, a BB to first base. That is not an easy play. And a lot of pitchers will prove that over and over that that's not an easy play.
See Ryan Howard as he caught the ball and woof.
Yeah, and he even gave him a good throw. He gave it out away from the runner where Ryan didn't have to deal with a runner coming at him.
Here's Detweiler. Has 1 hit this year in 16 at-bats.
One of those lefties batting right, so they got to make sure they have that arm protected. Big old elbow pad on there for him. It's a game we have an advantage in the 9-hole because Detweiler not much of a threat and Lee is.
And 2 now to Detweiler.
He had a blister last time out. A little bit on the hand bothered him, and hopefully that won't crop up tonight.
Yeah, we thought he was done just because his pitch count was at a certain level. He was really done because that blister was becoming bothersome.
Yeah.
1 and 2 to Detweiler.
So much friction on those seams for a pitcher throwing certain pitches, and that's what. If they have a blister, it can really aggravate. The seams can really aggravate it.
Josh Beckett early in his career used to come up with blisters often when he was with the Miami Marlins.
Yep. Nolan Ryan used to have that old. He used to say it was old pickle brine that he would put his fingers in for blisters. I don't know whether that's just a country story, but it's always sounded good.
Called strike 3, and that's the 3rd strikeout for Lee. He now has 92 on the season. Denard's Bands due up. Weeknights on PHL 17. Catch a full hour of the funniest show on TV. See Raj and the rest of your favorite geeks take on life, love, and of course video games. It's all on Philly's #1 comedy, The Big Bang Theory. Weeknights at 7 on PHL 17. Span grounded out to Howard his only time up. Could not pull the trigger on that cutter.
Talk about tempo. Oh, Lee has such great tempo. You mentioned earlier working with Carlos Ruiz. They're probably on the same page. Look at that. Strike one. Best pitch in baseball. And Lee's staying away from throwing too good a strike one tonight, as he will do when he has a tough game. He'll throw it down the middle and get hurt.
Oh-2 pitch. Ground ball towards second. To his left and in is Franzen, and it's a 1-2-3 third inning for Cliff Lee. He's retired 7 consecutive hitters. He's done it with minimal pitches and a whole lot of strikes. We go to the bottom of the third, and Franzen will lead it off. Citizens Bank, where good banking is good citizenship. Isn't it time you experience good banking? And by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most innovative lineup ever. Shop at ChooseNissan.com. Cliff Lee has allowed just 1 hit through the first 3. He's going to get ready to take some swings against Ross Detweiler, the starter for the Nationals. He's due up third in this inning. It'll be Franzen, Ruiz, and then Lee. Every time the Phillies retire the opposition, 1-2-3. Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports, giving you all your favorite sports all year long. And Lee has done that twice so far. Franzen's hit in 5 in a row. Overall hitting .288.
Yeah, he's hit his way into the lineup. Charlie will say that sometimes, that a guy can hit his way into the lineup. And he's made enough good contact, hit the ball hard, made some things happen that he's going to play a little bit more.
It's kind of what he did last year. He started playing in the second half of the season because of injuries after having a very solid year in AAA, and he never looked back.
Yeah, and if they have to, they'll defense for him later in the game. They feel that they need to do that.
1-2 to Franzen.
He hurt himself last year. He had a really bad leg the last month of the season. Played on that. He's wearing that guard on his front foot, trying to stay away from foul balls.
And a line drive toward left. Lombardozzi comes in and reaches down to make the catch. Ball hung up there for him. Let's hear the reaction for Carlos Ruiz. Doesn't matter where he goes, where his career will take him, what he does after baseball. They'll always love him here in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Anytime he won't come back, he'll hear chooch, that's for sure.
This one off the end of the bat, a flare to right. Worth started back. Now he comes in. He can't get it. It's off the tip of his glove. Ruiz holds up at first. That's the first hit of the night. Big swing and a little blooper, and it fooled Jason Worth.
And Carlos Ruiz will be out there running the bases right away. He's playing shallow in right field anyway, the way you should on the hitter's offside. Worth has always been very good at that and does a nice job of trying to trap it here on one hop, and he was going to try and sell it. Well, actually, he just took it right off the ground. It hit the ground, and it never really bounced.
Anytime you see Jason do that, you worry about that wrist, which, if you're a Nationals fan, you worry about that wrist, which he hurt when he was first in the big leagues with the Dodgers, when he was hit by a pitch, and then last year diving for a ball in D.C.
on the Sunday night game against the Phillies when he broke the wrist.
Kind of bent it back. One strike to Lee. 6 for 24 this season.
He loves to hit, but this is a bunt situation. Rivera's getting a little bit better at driving in some runs, although they play him so shallow that even if Lee bunts him over, you have a runner like Ruiz will be at second with 2 outs. It'll be tough to score. That's why Cliff's up there thinking, let me hit.
1 ball, 1 strike. And he bunts it foul.
Just stabbed at that one. You see him shaking his head. The bat was back. Probably not even in fair territory.
Carlos didn't realize the ball had gone foul. He thought he'd into play to second.
See where the bat is? Bat's back there and you stab at it. It's really hard to keep it fair. You really have to have the bat in fair territory almost to keep a ball fair when you bunt it. Whoa. He's trying to. You say, why would he throw a curveball? Well, the reason is he tried to throw a curveball to absolutely freeze him, and then it's too late, and it's strike 3 call, and he's on his way back to the dugout. If they see it, it's a really easy pitch to bunt because it's on its way down anyway. But more times than not, it'll just freeze a guy up there on 2 strikes.
And Cliff taps it foul.
Let him swing. Get Zimmerman's attention a little bit. Those are for Ryan Sandberg down at third. Some of them mean something, some of them don't. Zimmerman was not convinced. He came charging down from third, and Lee took a full swing.
That time he was just swinging away the whole time. First strikeout for Detweiler. Back to the top of the order for Ben Revere. MLB.TV celebrates 11 years with new low yearly prices. Watch every out-of-market game live on over 350 supported mobile and connected devices in HD quality with MLB.TV Premium. Visit MLB.TV today. MLB.TV, baseball everywhere. Wheels, you're going to leave and go watch a set of the Rolling Stones over at the Wells Fargo Center?
I tried. I heard they were across the street.
Yeah.
No. Never seen them in person. Have you?
I have not.
Must be a great show.
Even at their age.
Yeah, I can think about their age. I cannot even imagine doing what they do. They are so athletic. Well, Mick Jagger's so athletic. Incredible.
Revere lays off 2-1. Revere fly to center his first time up. Chopper softly hit towards second, and Rendon scoops it and flips to first, and the Phillies are retired here in the third. They leave one, they get their first hit. 3 in the books. We go to the fourth. Take a listen, Wills. This is what you're missing. But did you know WB Mason carries the products you need to clean your business? WB Mason now specializes in delivering an all-star selection of janitorial supplies same day. Top of the fourth, scoreless game. Nats with 1 hit, Phillies with 1 hit. Everybody getting themselves settled for the middle frames. Watching Cliff Lee and Ross Detweiler. 2 left-handers who are dealing pretty well so far, Sarge.
Hard throwers and throwing strikes. That's what it's all about. And again, you know these 2 pitchers are going to be around, especially Cliff Lee, around the plate. Cliff Lee, too. How about that? 37 pitches, what, 31 strikes?
31 strikes so far.
How about that ratio?
That's pretty darn good. The ball's hit foul down the left field line. It's going to go a pretty good ways. Into sweet 2 down the left field line.
Got those pitchers throwing strikes. Those are the guys that are kind of tough to set up because they're around the plate and around the plate with a variety of different pitches, curveballs, changeups.
Curveball, and he's out front. No balls and 2 strikes.
Kind of like that Cliff's able to hit that outside corner. He's been putting that right down by the knees. You can already see the difference in the catching, the target that Carlos Ruiz gives, a little bit more used to calling games against these guys. And some of the other catchers, see how low he gets? A lot of times the pitchers like guys that are giving them that low target. Being able to stretch like that, nothing wrong with that hammy, that's for sure.
2-2 pitch. And a called strike 3 on the inside part of the plate. That's exactly your point, Sarge, about being able to work the corners outside and inside, and that helps keep them guessing, and that's all part of the game calling from Ruiz.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And when it comes in here, look at the target though that he gives. Even though it caught a little more of the plate, freezes the hitter right there, not even able to pull the trigger.
Zimmerman has the lone hit for the Nationals, a single back in the first. At the knees, that was a cutter, and it's 0-2. Actually, that may have been a changeup, since it was 84 miles an hour. Cutters usually around 88.
Most importantly, that spot that he had, down and away and low. If the guy hits the ball, usually not able to hit that pitch out. Not a bad pitch there as he comes in. That hitter to do less damage, pitch to that opposite side that he can hit that home run in. Right-handers, obviously, kind of high pitch. He just keeps coming at you. High fastball. Take a look at it. Comes in there. This one out of the zone. Almost looked like it moved away from him a little.
Two outs. Jason Worth is up. He grounded into an inning-ending fielder's choice. His first time up. That ended the first. And a liner to left field. That's well hit. Dominic Brown going back, and that one is gone. A pitch that was up, and Jason Worth gives the Nationals a 1-0 lead with his 7th home run.
Yeah, that ball coming really into him. He's looking fastball all the way. This is what happened. You know, pitchers are predictable, even though, let's face it, Lee is around the plate. Hitters guess sometimes if they get their pitch, they're able to get good wood on it. This would be the result. See exactly where it is. Boy, that ball didn't get in the way that you wanted. You see where Carlos is sitting, and when you miss by that far in that location, power hitters will hit that ball out of the ballpark.
Here's Adam LaRoche with the Nationals up 1-0.
We know Cliff does throw a lot of strikes, and for the most part, it's inside, out, up and down. That was just too much of the plate.
Line drive, base hit to right field. That was a breaking pitch, it seemed, that just hung up.
I thought that's just pretty good hitting there.
Desmond struck out his first time. He went down looking. One of 5 strikeouts for Lee. Well, they are swinging early.
Well, sometimes too you gotta go on and back off and maybe throw a ball, make sure it's a ball, because they are in the swing mode, because they know he throws so many different pitches, but he throws right around the plate. You know, and a lot of times too, when you're a hitter, we'll get back into that here this next inning.
Easy play at second. Side is retired. Fielder's choice for Desmond, but a run for the Nationals on a home run by Jason Worth. The pitch that was up, he hasn't missed much tonight. He missed with that pitch there. And Jason Worth sent it for a ride. Quality Plus Ford stores. Go further. Buy the Pennsylvania Lottery. Benefits older Pennsylvanians every day. And buy Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota. Let's go places. Last of the fourth. Phillies down 1-0. Jason Worth's home run is the only run so far in this game. 1 run on 3 hits for the Nationals. No runs on 1 hit for the Phillies. That was a base hit by Carlos Ruiz. Second time through for the Phillies against Ross Detweiler. Michael Young lined one right back to Detweiler his first time up.
Right, here's another one of those guys, Detweiler. I mean, he throws hardly nothing but fastballs. I would consider that a personal challenge, going up there looking for that heater. Especially if you see that he can't get any of his off-speed pitches over the plate.
Out toward left center field. Span on the run. He's not going to get there. He'll take it on a hop, but Michael Young's going to get to second base. Leadoff double.
Good hitting, short, quick to the ball there, hitting against that back leg. Ball hit. No way, though, for Span to be able to get that ball when he keeps it on the line. So you want to try and answer, get a runner in scoring position right away.
Rollins grounded to third his first time. Ball was cut off in the hole by Ryan Zimmerman.
Yeah. Well, he's got to be able to move him some kind of way. You want to be able to answer back with a run.
And he bunts toward first. That's a beauty. He'll be able to move him. Detweiler throws him out.
I gotta tell you, that for me, especially when things aren't going well, or you're behind, for a player to bunt, and especially Jimmy Rollins, he's in that third spot. However, he's not a hitter that you're looking to hit the ball out of the ballpark. He's a hitter that can do different things. And this particular team, with him on the third spot, they need him to bunt. There might be some other players in the third spot you wouldn't ask them to bunt, like Cabrera, maybe with the Detroit Tigers. But this was perfect. I mean, a good play for me to be able to bunt that ball, get that runner over to third base.
Well, the infield will play back all the way with Michael Young over at third and Howard up. Howard flied out to left his first time up. If he does that again in the same spot, he won't score Young, but he has the ability, obviously, to drive it and run with a sac fly and a ground ball foul. Time now for our Geico quote of the day. And you and Murph talked in the open about Howard. This is what he said after yesterday's game. I'm trying to put together some good ABs and just let the power come as it comes. I'm continuing to just grind. I'm just trying to get into a position where my knee doesn't hurt. I'm trying to do what I can with singles and doubles. Hopefully the homers will come. That one's hit toward right center field. That'll get the run home. Worth calls off Span. Young tags from third, and Ryan Howard has just tied this ball game up with a sacrifice fly to right. It's a 1-1 game.
Well, that's what you call a good at bat. All the way around, though. Double, get him over, get him in. That's what it's all about. But again, you don't know how bad that leg is that he's on. Doesn't prevent him from playing, but what it prevents him from doing is maybe driving the ball the way he would like. Take a look and see where the pitch selection is. He gets the ball away from him as opposed to being in. Much better pitch for him to be able to drive the ball in the outfield.
Here's Dominic Brown with 2 outs, and he takes low. Well, the part of the quote, which I do think symbolizes Ryan Howard, is the grind. He's played hurt these last couple of years. Even when he was healthy 90% of the time, years past, he wouldn't take a day off. He just doesn't generally like to take a day off.
Absolutely right about that. And I think that they're a better team when he's in there.
There's a diving play by LaRoche to end the bottom of the fourth. Dominic Brown hit it square, but LaRoche on the glove side was able to take care of it. The Phillies tie it up on a sac fly by Ryan Howard. The Nationals and the Phils, about an hour and 10-minute rain delay before Cliff Lee and Ross Detweiler went to work. Both pitchers are throwing well. We welcome in the Phillies first base coach, Juan Samuel, who joins us from down in the dugout. All right, Sammy, first things first, that was a heck of a way to tie this ball game up. The Phillies did a lot of good things in their half of the fourth.
Yes, that was a little bit of what we call small baseball there. Jimmy Rollins definitely did a good job by getting him over. And, hey, textbook, Ryan Howard sack fly, so we even.
There's a fly ball to right. Delman Young is under it and makes the catch.
Sammy, how about Dominic Brown there in left field? He is playing a terrific left field now, especially compared to spring training, taking really good routes. What are some of the things you've done to straighten him out?
Well, there's no doubt he's just feeling more comfortable. Obviously, hitting also helps your defense, as you know. It's more relaxed, but just reading the swing of the hitter and kind of move and seeing that catcher move back there a little bit to get an idea and be able to get good jumps on the ball.
That ball hit the glove of Lee, picked up by Rollins, 1-6-3, and there are 2 outs. Sammy, I'm not sure how long this conversation is going to go because we've had 2 pitches and 2 outs. So let's just ask you, is there anything you want to get off your mind before we move on?
No, actually, Sarge, I had noticed one thing on Brownie, that he is making adjustment on those hitters. He see guys falling off balls to the opposite side, and he's moving on his own, which is something that you want the young outfielders to do. Make adjustment, read that swing.
When you talk about the bat angles there, explain that just a little bit. And being able to get a jump.
Well, if you got a left-handed hitter and you see the barrel of the bat dropped a little bit, you know that ball is going to go toward the line a little bit. If those guys get on top of the ball, driving that ball, that ball is hit well. It's going to stay through.
1 ball, 1 strike to Ross Detweiler. We see you working every day with Dominic and the outfielders. It is an everyday process, isn't it, to get him to continue to improve?
It's no doubt, Tom. And one thing we talked about in spring training is with all these outfielders, they have to power shack during BP because the ball comes different off my fungo. So we having those guys power shack every day.
That's a good thing. The other thing, we'll move to center field now, Sammy, because I think Ben Revere has looked more comfortable the last couple of weeks. Maybe it's the offense feeding off the defense or vice versa, but I think he's looked a little more comfortable.
Well, in his case, I thought he was playing way too deep early in the season. And we told him, hey, you got speed. You're the fastest guy in this team. So you could move in and play in a little bit to avoid those little bloopers that were falling in. And we've seen some success with those.
How about some of those routes that we've seen him take?
Well, at times he's been suspect. Some of those. He's been suspect. One last night, sorry, he said, well, that ball kind of hit the ground and took off. So that ball left center.
All right, Sammy, I know it was fast, but it was very nice having a conversation with you here in the top of the 5th.
All right, guys, always. Thank you.
All right, we go to the bottom of the 5th. Our thanks to Juan Samuel. Phillies and Nats tied at 1. On the Atlanta Braves at the start of a 3-game series, 2 night games and then a day game. That Saturday game is Mama Lucia Meatballs Ladies Night, a free print to women 15 and older. Get your tickets now by going to Phillies.com. The Phillies and the Braves. The Braves lost game 1 of their day-night doubleheader to the Mets. They're trailing game 2. Phillies are 8 games back right now in the division. The Nationals are 7 games back in the division.
Yeah. Now, at some point in time, especially when they play the Braves, they're going to have to be able to not win the series, sweep them, be able to get right back into it. It might be a while. That's one of the reasons you stay close, so that when you play the team that's on top in your division, it forces you to play better ball if you want to be able to win that division.
Well, we talked about the divisional record. The Phillies have had a good divisional record. Now, most of the games have come against the Mets and the Marlins,
yeah.
But it's okay that they're taking care of them. Now they have to take care of the upper echelon of the division. Delvin Young leads it off. Delman fouled that one right past the belt buckle of Kevin Franzen.
He didn't even move.
Didn't move. He's all padded up, though. He's okay. He's got the elbow pad, the ankle guard. He's playing a little hockey.
I just don't get how you can swing that late for a ball to go right where it went. I mean, and again, we're talking about, we're looking fastball on a guy. This is just about all the pitches that he's thrown. Therefore, you got to pull a pitch sooner or later. I got to tell you.
So that one hit him square in the back. That'll bring Franzen to the plate. Let's check in with Murph. Murph?
All right, guys, I'll give you an update on Carlos Zambrano, who is pitching tonight for the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, facing those Toledo Mud Hens. And hey, just look at the numbers. Looks like he pitched well tonight. 7 innings, 5 hits, no runs scored, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. And he threw 108 pitches. So, you know, just by looking at his line score, guys, certainly looks like he was effective. I'm sure, obviously, Ruben Amaro Jr. and his staff will go over that entire game and take a look and see what they see when they actually watch the outing. But a good line score out of Carlos Zambrano tonight.
Yeah, we've been updating folks, not that we've seen Zambrano live or even through tape, but we've been updating folks with what some of the folks that have seen him talk about in person.
Yeah, well,
the ball isn't coming out of his hand as free as they would like right now, but that may have changed tonight. He may have made some adjustments.
Well, again, this guy here, he pitches with a lot of heart, wears his emotions right on his sleeve. I mean, you'll know when things aren't going right for Carlos Zambrano.
Softly hit left side. Zimmerman charges, picks it up, and throws Franzen out at first.
But the one thing that you won't have to question will be his heart and the way that he's going to go out there and pitch. Now, whether or not he has it or not, that remains to be seen, and especially on this level. So, you know, we'll know whether or not he's walking batters and, you know, striking them out, ground balls, and whether or not he's throwing strikes.
I think that was the thing that stood out tonight. I mean, obviously it's scoreless, but the fact he only walked one guy.
And that is key. You know, he doesn't throw as hard as he used to, which would be right about 95, 96 or so. More of a pitcher. Doesn't throw the ball as hard. He appears to have a lot more movement on his pitches. Make no bones about it, this guy does throw hard. 95, 96.
Carlos takes low, and it's 2-1.
That's the difficult thing about hitting when you get hit with 94 in the back. got to come up there and forget all about it and go up there and try and hit again. In most cases, still with a lot of pain.
For years, StubHub has been the place to find great Phillies tickets. And this season, you can get more with your tickets thanks to StubHub Fan Rewards. So get to StubHub and grab your seats today. Two balls, two strikes. And now Ruiz calls time. Two pitch. Outside corner. Ooh, boy, oh boy, oh boy. Somehow it must have come back to the outside part of the plate. That is a tough pitch.
I don't remember him throwing any break. That's a ball, by the way. Any breaking ball. Toots just looking back at him like, really, are you kidding me?
I thought that was a ball when it left his hand.
Well,
never went to the plate.
Not only that, though, he slowed his arm down so much to try and get that break on the ball.
Cliff struck out his first time. Delman Young's at second, hit by a pitch to begin the inning.
Difficult to hit when you give him that many pitches. You're going to give him that fastball that's down. That's okay. Don't start giving him that high breaking ball. Just too much of an advantage for a pitcher to have.
Yeah, I think Ted Barrett's been pretty good tonight. I just think he missed that call.
And he is usually a good umpire, especially the balls and strikes. One of the guys that you're able to talk to.
0-2 pitch coming to Cliff Lee. And he hits it back toward the middle, a base hit. Young's being waved home, spans up with it. He hesitated. The throw to the plate. He is out at the plate. The putout goes 8-2. Span did hesitate, but still threw it on the fly to Kurt Suzuki, who reached back and got the foot of Delman Young before the foot arrives on the plate. We go to the sixth, still tied at 1. Delman Young, not a bad leadoff second base.
Now had a pretty good secondary there. I guess you got to give both center fielder some credit there. But another base hit there, too, by Cliff Lee. Clutch hitting. See Delman coming around third as he takes a little look. That may have cost him, I don't know, DOA at the plate, however. Pretty good throw, though, too. Coming in again, terrific shot. You can see it got him right on his foot. Coming around, you ought to just keep going. Don't have to look. May not have gotten there anyway. Pretty good try. Very aggressive by Sandberg. I like that.
So Delman's thrown out to wrap up the bottom of the 5th inning for Span, his second outfield assist of the season. And he'll lead things off as we go to the top of the 6th. Each team now with 3 hits, each team with 1 run. Well, we knew coming in that both of these teams were low-scoring squads toward the bottom of the National League in on-base percentage and average and runs per game.
You got to take that chance. Really, it's just when you're not scoring runs, too. I mean, those kind of chances, I would think Sandberg's going to take it all the time.
Personally, I think most third base coaches would do it.
I agree.
After the postgame show, stick around for the best news in town. Action News gets you ready for the rest of the week and catches you up on all the Delaware Valley's biggest news stories, all in just 30 minutes. Action News at 10 on PHL 17 tonight and every night. It's a little later because of tonight because of the hour and 10-minute rain delay that we had at the outset. Denard Span is 0 for 2. He's grounded out twice. High 2-0. And a ground ball toward first. It's not hit hard. Howard has it and tags a leaping Span. Turned into a high hurdler. Would have been really impressive if he had jumped over top of Howard to get to first.
Yeah, well, he might have gotten flipped then. I'm sure he tagged him before he got up high. It's going that way. Oops. He tries to get over him. Pretty big man to jump over.
Yeah, look at the replay. It wasn't as impressive as it looked at the first time. Rendona struck out twice. First pitch to him, curveball high. It's 1-0. And a line drive, base hit to center field for Rendon. 4th hit of the night for the Nationals. And it'll bring Zimmerman up. A reminder from Budweiser, great times are waiting. Designated driver. Zimmerman singled to the first, struck out his last time. Phillies will set up to try to turn 2.
They want 2, and they want that ball near the outside part of the plate, and they want it down so he can roll over, hit that ground ball. If you come inside, it's fine to come inside, but just make sure, though, it's not out over the plate. Want to make sure it's in. The ball to Jason Worth. He got that cutter out over the plate. Not only that, the ball's up a little bit.
2-0 to Zimmerman. Second straight batter. He's fallen behind 2 balls and no strikes. Cliff trying to get through this 6th inning. There's a strike belt high. The only run he's allowed is the home run by Worth, who's on deck. Flips over to first, even though Rendon is standing on the first base bag.
Yeah, just in case he wanted to maybe wander off. And besides, well, left-handers do things a little differently at times here in the major leagues, let's say. Good pitch.
Swing and a miss. He got it for the 2nd time. A cutter toward the outer part of the plate. 7 strikeouts for Lee.
Boy, what a great pitch here, 2-2. Take a look at it. Here's the cutter that he's talking about there. And the difference is, again, you throw that ball down, it makes it difficult for that hitter to hit that ball. You get it up a little bit, it's easier for him to be able to hit it.
Now with Worth up, he swung at the first pitch his last time for the home run. You wonder if they'll start him with something a little different here.
Well, down and away is fine. Just make sure it's off the good pitch, off the plate, or in. When you leave them up like that, that's where they go. That's literally a hanger, to be quite honest. Well, I tell you, he's got that brush out and painting them right on the corners. Living on that outside corner. Obviously, Jason looking for that ball middle in. He can get this one in the dirt. Something hard to dirt. Good possibility. He'll swing at that one.
Jason with 13 hits since coming off the disabled list and 47 at bats. His average at 265. He was on the disabled list with a bad hamstring. The 0-2 pitch to him. In the dirt. 1-2. I think he threw him the wrong pitch there. Yep. Carlos was kind of laughing as he went out.
Yeah, probably end up crossing him up, or maybe, you know, just talking about don't overthrow your pitch. A lot of times, too, you'll try too hard. Take a look at it as he bounces it. There it goes. He wanted it up high there. Not low. Just going out checking.
Ground ball to third. Nice hop for Michael Young. A flip to second. Side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left. Time to get the man some runs as we go to the bottom of the 6th there at Philadelphia at the top of the order. 2-0. are waiting. Grab some buds. By McDonald's. I'm loving it. And by Honda. Visit your Honda dealer today for great deals. Only a Honda is a Honda. Well, it's cleared out in Philadelphia after it rained for most of the afternoon. We move to the bottom of the 6th in a 1-1 game. Ross Detweiler battling Cliff Lee. Phillies off the top of the order to start off the bottom of the 6th. It'll be Revere, Michael Young, and Jimmy Rollins. Detweiler has only struck out 2, Sarge, but he's only allowed 3 hits so far through 5.
Well, he's been managing his game. Not throwing as many off-speed pitches as Cliff Lee, but still effective in terms of getting the hitters out. I mean, he is a hard thrower. That's what makes it uncomfortable as a hitter. Don't know exactly where that ball is going.
Revere bunts. It's a beauty. There is no way they'll get him, and if he can do that more often than not, it is a great weapon.
Wow, well, that play there, I tell you, you're right. It was a perfect bunt. Detweiler, pitcher, almost breaking, going the other way. Ben almost made it until that last minute. Check this out here. See how he just lays it there? You don't know which way he was going to go. Detweiler actually breaking the other way just a little bit. By then, he gets it down. No way that second baseman is going to be able to come and throw him out.
It's a 9-game hitting streak now for Revere, so he's aboard with Michael Young at the plate. Young doubled and scored the run for the Phillies. That was in the 4th. He's 1 for 2. He's hit the ball hard both times. Detweiler has that slide step to the plate, which does make him difficult to run on, but he is a big kid.
Yeah, the slide step makes it difficult to run on. However, you know, that maybe hit and run might be able to work on the guys that slide step, which means they don't pick that field up very far at all. Kind of just slide it toward home plate. That's why they call it the slide step.
Young was trying to shoot it through that hole on the right side. Now it's 1-2.
Well, one of the reasons for me, I think, especially in this situation where you have Ben Revere at first and a guy, Michael Young, he hits a lot of ground balls. Therefore, that hit and run, you got a fast runner there, you got a guy that can handle the bat, and then he usually hits it on the ground. Good job by Michael in just calling timeout. Don't ever want to hit like you're just a statue. So if you feel that it's too long, every hitter's different. You go in and step out.
Michael Young is 2 RBIs away from reaching 1,000 for his career.
Yeah, that would be just super. Major accomplishment to drive in 1,000.
He would become the 19th active player to reach that milestone. It's been a great career.
Yeah.
1-2 pitch. Low, 2-2.
Hey, almost impossible, though, to get a real good jump. In these situations, a lot of times managers will say, hey, you just go on first movement. Well, with him so big, it takes him a long time to get the ball over to first base.
There's a little uncoiling that has to happen.
Yep.
For a guy that's 6'5". 2-2 pitch coming to Michael Young. Up high, 3-2. Rollins on deck.
Yeah, I got a run here for me, especially with the score. It's tied 1-1, 3-2. You got a fast runner on it. Even if he swings and misses, you got a chance for Ben to be in scoring position. If he gets a base hit, should be first and third.
Revere goes, and the pitch is slapped over the head of LaRoche down the right field line. Revere on his way to third. He's going to be waved home. Worth is up with it. Here's the throw for Rendon. No throw. An RBI double for Michael Young, and the Phillies take the lead. RBI number 999 for Michael Young. It's his second double of the ball game.
Well, he shoots this right down the corner, not trying to do too much. Just out of the reach there of LaRoche as he jumps up. Well, off to the races now. Ben, no chance at all to get Ben. He's almost like he is a track star as he gets around there. He knows how to turn these corners. Takes a little look there, not even sliding, as Michael Young goes into second.
Well, give Revere credit. He started it with that bunt single. And then, of course, Michael Young the opposite way with his 11th double of the season. He has 999 RBIs. And the Phillies have the lead and another runner in scoring position.
Oh, boy.
And I'm with you, Sarge. I like the fact they were moving on that pitch.
Well, when things aren't right, you want to try and be a little bit more aggressive. And a lot of times, even when hitters are in slumps, you know, managers will put that hit and run on just to try and get you going a little bit, to stay on the ball, to be able to hit that ball the other way.
Rollins shoots it the other way, a base hit. Young will be held at third. It'll be first and third with nobody out.
All right, that's some serious hitting right there. Doing the job, getting him over, and getting him over with a hard single. The other reason there that Michael Young wasn't able to score, that was just a bullet.
Well, as Ryan Howard, sorry, Sarge, as Ryan Howard comes to the plate, it's time now for our Mazda leaders. And he is the active leader in home runs against the Nationals. He hit his 37th last night.
Well, looking for another sacrifice fly here if he can, or even a base hit. Keep the line moving.
Howard had a sac fly his last time up. Oh, it hit him. Tosses the bat aside. It's the second batter he's hit, and the bases are loaded. That also got a piece of Suzuki, the catcher.
Yeah. And you know, with that little slide step, obviously he doesn't really look like he is comfortable in doing that, not picking up the target. Second batter that he's hit. Almost getting the catcher two out of here.
Steve McCaddy onto the phone. They'll get somebody started to loosen up in the bullpen.
Fastball in, and again, this is what makes it difficult to hit. When you got that ball coming in there, and then you haven't been hitting well, just gives you something else to think about.
Craig Stammen is the right-hander in the bullpen. Nobody out, bases loaded. Here in the bottom of the sixth, the run in and the RBI double by Michael Young. And the Phillies looking for a little bit more with Dominic Brown coming to the plate. Stammen's been one of the best relief pitchers for the Nationals this year. He's been able to float through different spots. Michael Young's over at third, Rollins at second, Howard at first.
This is with Dominic Brown here. He needs to show some patience. You know, keep it short. And remember, these situations, again, for me, pressure's always on the pitcher. He's the one that's got to throw a quality strike. for the pitch in your zone and let it go.
Outside, 1-0.
You just don't want to help him out, and you just don't want any check swings back to the pitcher. I think when I was playing, I'd rather, I'd never like to strike out. But that check swing was about as bad, let me tell you.
Got a pretty good pitch right there.
Pretty good pitch. Pretty good swing. Well, again, though, when you're looking fastball, just a little inside, however. Might have been a little bit up. Well, right now, too, though, especially with Barrett behind the plate, you would think that, hey, you could make him really throw you a good pitch to hit. Predictable count, right back to the fastball again. Just missed with a breaking ball. Let's get it down a little bit. If he throws a breaking ball, so what? I hope he wasn't up there looking breaking ball and taking that fastball.
Checked his swing, and it's 3-2.
Right back to that same situation again. Fastball count.
Here comes the 3-2 pitch to Dominic Brown. He fouls it back. 95 on that pitch. The bases are loaded here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Nobody out. Phillies up by 1. 3 hits in the inning and a hit batter. Dominic Brown 0 for 7 this year with the bases loaded. Trying to get a run home any way he can. Now the 3-2 pitch. Another foul ball. We'll do it again.
Yep. Another fastball. The thing is, though, he's getting his fastballs hit. That one there in a pretty good zone to be able to hit. You know, it might be some pitchers there you'd have to think, well, would he throw me this breaking ball, or hasn't had a good breaking ball and doesn't appear to be able to throw it over the plate for a strike. So therefore, stick to your strengths.
For the 3rd time, the 3-2 pitch to Dominic Brown. Swing and a miss. He got him. Oh, there's one away.
Huge.
3 straight fastballs. And the bases remain loaded for Del Mignon.
Boy, that's just a big out. Got to give him a little bit of credit. Came right back at him. Dominic pulling off of the ball. He had talked about last night, keeping that shoulder in on that left-handed pitcher. Well, this time it came off.
Del Mignon has been hit by a pitch. He's flat out to right. Very good numbers with the bases loaded for his career. And he fouled that one off Suzuki's foot.
Some kind of way. Gotta manufacture another run here. Take a look at it, and again, that's a ball, but he did foul that off. At that bat going forward, when you take that pitch, your bat should be back. You bring it forward, you lose a lot of power.
Runners lead off. And the 0-1 coming to Del Mignon. Lays off 1-1. Michael Young drove in the go-ahead run with a double. Then Rollins singled and Howard was hit by a pitch. Dominic Brown struck out. Now it's 1 ball and 1 strike to Delman Young with the bases loaded.
Right on it. A little bit high, but right on it. Foul that ball straight back. Some kind of way they got to manufacture at least 1 more run out of this situation, if not more.
Threw him a breaking pitch, and it remains 1-2.
Threw him a breaking pitch where he's ahead here in the count. I don't know if he'd be so brave in throwing that if it was 3-2.
And Delman waves at what would have been ball 2. Back-to-back strikeouts for Detweiler. Not really a strikeout pitcher, but he picked up 2 big ones. And now it's up to Kevin Franzen with the bases loaded.
Well, one of the reasons I've always said it, you stay on that fastball to tell the cows come home. Other than this, there's that bell you're going to hear ringing as he throws it right in the dirt. That breaking ball.
Franzen is flied out to left and grounded out to third.
He's looking for a little base hit anywhere. Left center, right center, up the middle.
Just get it to drop. And the pitch to Franzen. Outside, 1-0. Last 9 games against the Nationals. It's dating back to last year. Franzen is hitting .429. Two and 0. Change your approach. Are you taking a strike here? Or are you still looking for a good pitch to hit?
Well, I got to tell you now, with 2 outs, I'm looking middle in. You know, if it's on the outside corner, I'm going to let it go. And any off-speed pitch, I'm not even there thinking about swinging at. I'm looking for one thing, and that is that number 1. Franzen doing a good job, however, in staying off those pitches. He's a smart hitter, usually has a good at-bat every single time he goes to the plate. And that means that he would have a good game plan.
Now the 2-0 from Detweiler. And a fastball line to left field. Coming out is Lombardozzi. He can't get it. On 1 hop, 1 run scores. Here comes Rollins. He scores. A 2-out, 2-run single for Kevin Franzen. And the Phillies lead it 4-1.
It's just some good old clutch hitting right there by Franzen. Gets him in that hitting count. 2-0. Solid line drive. Thought it was going to hang up there for a minute or two. Take a look at it. Got his pitch. Ball down in the zone. There it is. It gets down. Good base running. And again, Ryan Sandberg being very aggressive. Had the right guys running. Take a look at how close as he gets over the bat. On the plate. Gets away from the throw.
Well, now Carlos Ruiz just misses an extra base hit with that foul ball.
Yeah, if you see in that shot, too, the other reason that he couldn't get down, see that bat that was laying right there. Usually you have that umpire, someone that would actually kick that bat out of there. No way you want to slide on it, but I got to tell you what. That's what you call doing a little dancing to get in there to home plate.
4 runs on 7 hits for the Phillies. They have first and second with 2 outs here in the 6th. It's outside, 1-1.
Yeah, with 2 outs like that, you're moving. I mean, it almost really shouldn't be a surprise for me. I mean, if you're on second, to be able to score.
Yeah, I was surprised it was that close. Carlos grounds it back towards short. Big hop for Desmond. And that'll do it for the bottom of the 6th inning. But damage was done. An RBI double for Michael Young. And the capper was a 2-run, 2-out single from Kevin Franzen. We go to the 7th. Phil's up 3.
Time now for your local Honda dealers game summary. A lot of good stuff in this one. Jason Worth with a solo home run. Ross Detweiler, he looked like he was going to get out of that 6th inning, but the big hit by Kevin Franzen's 2-run bases loaded single took it from 2-1 to 4-1, and Cliff Lee has been Cliff Lee so far tonight.
Yeah, he's got a 3-run lead to work with as we go to the top of the 7th. He'll face LaRoche, Ian Desmond, and Kurt Suzuki. LaRoche is 1 for 2. He singled his last time up after he popped out to the catcher in his first AB. Cliff begins the 7th with 74 pitches.
Pretty manageable.
Trying to win his 9th game of the year and his 134th of his big league career.
133 and 80 coming into tonight. Think how this is such a game of inches. How close did LaRoche come to catching that ball Jimmy Rollins hit? And it's a double play, 2 outs and nobody on base. Or the ball that Young hit, I mean, over his glove. That was so close. And he's such a magician down there with that glove. And that set the whole inning up.
Great bunt by Revere, too, to start the inning.
Absolutely. And he's running on the 3-2, and he catches it. He walks over and touches the bag. It's a double play.
1-2 pitch to LaRoche. Broke his bat. Little floater out to second. 1 out.
Here's the ball that Michael hits. Look, LaRoche jumps off the bag. He's so quick, and he jumps, and it's over his glove. Maybe a foot, maybe 6 inches. Wasn't that much. And he's so athletic that many times he'll catch a ball like that, and then basically your inning's over. Game of inches. Charlie talks all the time. You got to have some luck in this business too.
Ian Desmond is 0 for 2. He is struck out and ended the fourth with a fielder's choice. He shows bunt, and that pitch just missed. Stammons continuing to throw in the bullpen for the Nationals. So Detweiler may be done. Through 75 pitches his last outing and his first start off the DL. Some more in this outing. .85 in this outing.
Yeah, he did a heck of a job with Brown and Young striking both those guys out. He really looked like he may get out of it. Kevin Franson gave him a great at bat. Got him to 2-0 and zeroed in, it looked like, on a fastball in and nailed it. Another game of inches. How close was that to being caught in left field?
There's John Mayberry, who's taken over in right field for Delman Young here in the top of the 7th. Well, you can also carry it over to the play at the plate. Rollins, the bat was sitting there, so he couldn't slide.
Right.
So Suzuki nearly tagged him out.
Yeah, and it was amazing the way he was able to time his leap over the bat and hit the plate. That he had just enough to be able to do that and not come up short.
Game of inches.
A few things happened right in that inning. That's
a
always
lot of folks that are saying it's about time.
Well, it's a nice thing once in a while when you have an inning like that where you look at all these things that were so close that went in your favor.
That ball slipped out of Lee's hand. It's 3-2.
Yeah, here it is. Jimmy sees the bat there, so all he can do is just take a jump at home plate and he catches it. Sometimes you can slide when you hit the plate like that and hurt yourself. And, you know, guys don't want to leap at a bag, or even at home plate, you don't want to leap at it that way.
Particularly on a wet night.
Right.
Although the rain has subsided.
Yeah, but your spikes are wet from the dirt, from running the bases and all that. And you could see his foot did slip just a little bit. He just keeps throwing strikes. He hates to walk anybody.
And a called strike 3 at the knees. Number 8 for Cliff Lee. Desmond doesn't think so. 97 on the year for Cliff.
And only 17 walks the whole year. Is it a strike? I just got finished saying he hates to walk anybody. You can see why he thought maybe it was low, but I don't know unless you see it from the side. It was close. When you're around the plate the way Lee is, you'll get close calls sometimes.
Well, he's got 2 outs now in the 7th. Suzuki's 0 for 2. Lee has scattered 4 hits over 6 2/3. And it's 0-1 to Suzuki.
He does become some player. Really talented. Drops one of them in there just for good measure. A lot of fastballs and cutters again tonight. Well, they want to go up.
Yeah, the 0-2. It was down, and he fouls it off to the right. These lucky fans are tonight's Citizens 7. They were to receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. To find a branch near you, visit citizensbank.com. No balls, 2 strikes to Suzuki. Threw him a cutter. It was low, 1-2. the way the night's going, if the Phillies can hang on, they could gain a game and a half on the Braves. We've already lost game 1 and are losing game 2 to the Mets. Still 7 outs to go.
Pitch count was in really good shape coming into this inning, and now he's had an inning with a bunch of foul balls.
Yeah, this is a 19 pitch inning so far.
No base runners, but a lot of fouls because he's right around the plate. He just does not give in. It's almost like Lee doesn't ever want to walk anybody. Even when he misses, it's so close.
Two pitch. A liner toward left field. That's well hit. Brown going back toward the fence. Makes the catch in stride. And the side is retired. No runs, no hits, and nobody left. A clean 7. Time to stretch here at Citizens Bank Park. The Phillies on top, 4-1. All right, Wheels, here's the question one more time. What 3 positions did Nats manager Davey Johnson play for the Phillies during the 77 season?
Well, he's an infielder, so let's start at first base.
First base, that would be correct. Check one off your list, Wheels.
Here's where it gets. Well, he's a second baseman by trade.
By trade, he's a second baseman. That's 2.
Now Bo didn't like to miss games at shortstop. But Davey also was a shortstop, had played shortstop, and something. It's either short or third. All right, short.
Shortstop is incorrect, Wheels.
Is it third?
It's third base.
I mean, it had to be three out of 4 infield positions.
Stunned that Bo did not text you and say, I didn't miss any games for Davey Johnson.
Well, I'll get that now.
Craig Stammen delivers a strike. He's the new pitcher for the Nationals.
What's wrong with you, man? I never missed any games. Yeah, but he could have given him, Danny could have taken him out in the 9th inning or something, let him play over there.
0-2 to Lee. Stammen's numbers 4-2, 2.95 earned run average. Suzuki throws Lee out. A strikeout to begin the 7th. Ben Revere is due up. The Stars align for the 2013 Major League Baseball All-Star Game as the best of the AL take on the National League's top players. Don't miss the action Tuesday, July 16th at 7:30 and 4:30 Pacific on Fox. Figure that Jonathan Papelbon and Cliff Lee have a very good chance of making the All-Star team, and you can't forget about Dominic Brown with his 19 home runs and his 49 runs batted in.
That sometimes is the toughest position for a guy to make in his career. Gary Maddox, all the great years he had, never made an All-Star team.
That is surprising.
It really is.
Sarge made one.
Right. That's my point, because there's so many offensive outfielders, guys that are run producers, that's why they play those positions. So they make All-Star teams. And sometimes it's the only representative for a club. So when you're talking about an outfielder as a long shot, it becomes a problem sometimes. Maybe not this year.
Here's the 2-0 to Revere. On the outside corner, 2-1. I do think if you're Major League Baseball and you see somebody like Ben Revere, kind of emerging, or excuse me, Dominic Brown emerging, that you'd love to have him on that stage up at Citi Field.
Yeah, I'm just watching Ted Barrett's strike zone. All of a sudden, Ben Revere got a little crazy. Yeah, and I'm sure that'll come into play, Tom. You like to have your bright young stars sometimes get on the big stage, but you run into a numbers problem.
Here's the 2-2 to Revere, and a curveball hit foul.
I remember sitting there for those 2 years, and you were involved in it too with Charlie when he would go through with the league what they were trying to do to put the All-Star team together, and it's really a problem.
Charlie was criticized when he took Omar Infante and Martin Prado. Prado was having a great year, and Infante, they asked him to take a utility guy, so that's part of the reason why he took Infante.
Right.
2 outs, back-to-back strikeouts for Stammen.
Stammen is really a durable pitcher for these guys. He's done a tremendous job for them for a number of years. And he'll throw a fastball, throw a slider, curveball, changeup, and he'll pitch a couple innings for them too. And those guys are so important. Like what Michael Stutz did for the Phils last night, pitched 2 innings. Not many guys do that nowadays.
Michael Young has 2 doubles and 3 official at-bats tonight. And he lines one to left field, another base hit. Lombardozzi cuts it off before it gets to the warning track. Young is thinking about 3 doubles. The throw to second, not in time. It's a 3-double night for Michael Young.
His timing is really good in this game. Had the 1 out that he's made was that bullet that he hit back at Ross Detwiler at the start. Those people that came from Texas are having fun. Here's the timing. That little toe tap that he has, and he is right on that first pitch and lines it and hustles it into a double. Gets himself in a scoring position with 2 outs. Good time to try it. Pitcher with a 3-run lead.
12 doubles this year, 3 tonight for Young. Rollins 1 for 2.
He's been thrown out the plate a few times this year. Sure, right. Sandberg's down there going, oh no. But at least there's 2 outs. That's one of the hardest jobs in baseball, is coaching third in a small ballpark on a team that doesn't have a lot of speed.
Yeah, he took a chance earlier tonight with Delman Young when Cliff Lee singled to center field.
2 outs. 5th inning. Guy in center doesn't throw very well. That's a good time for a chance.
Fly ball to left, Lombardozzi and Desmond, and it's Lombardozzi who makes the call. Side is retired, no runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left. Michael Young ties his career high with 3 doubles in a ball game. Mazda. We believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. Buy Xfinity, the official HD triple play provider of your Phillies. Buy WB Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy right. And buy Chevrolet. Visit your local dealer at ChevyDealer.com. Fans are being entertained right now by the Fanatic and a young fan playing the guitar to the song that was, or the melody that was made popular in the Deliverance.
Dueling banjos.
Dueling banjos. Took the youngster a little while to get into the flow of it, but he had it working.
He probably never saw that movie.
Don't think he did. Hopefully he knows who Clint Eastwood is. Cliff Lee begins the 8th against Steve Lombardozzi. He's 0 for 2. Chris Marrero's out of the on-deck circle as a possible pinch hitter, with Drew Storen throwing in the pen.
Phillies have no activity in their bullpen with Cliff Lee approaching 100 pitches. There's Storen, used to be their closer. And they're very confident they can get another inning out of him.
Popped him up over toward the Phillies dugout, and it's out of play. Called strike 3 at the knees. It is strikeout number 9 for Cliff Lee to begin the 8th inning.
Well, here he goes at the knees again. He's gotten 2 of these. Oh, that was a strike, definitely. But watch it right here. Let's see. Yeah, that's right across the knees. A perfect pitch. Guy's amazing.
98 pitches. Jeff Coburnis will pinch hit for the Nationals instead of Marrero. Coburnis started last night's ball game.
Down with his stuff tonight, too. Not only is he moving it in and out, but down with those pitches.
He's got a 75-25 split right now.
It's outrageous. And you know, they're not strikes that he gets in trouble with, that they're hittable type strikes. These are strikes that are hitting parts of the plate that hitters don't really handle well.
This is Carlos Ruiz's first start since coming off the disabled list. Came off today.
Got to have fun handling Lee on a night like this when he has it on a string.
To left field, Dominic Brown will just turn and watch that one go. Coburnis with a home run to make this a 4-2 ball game. Second home run of the night surrendered by Lee.
Well, we're talking about his great location all night. Well, he made a mistake then and paid for it.
A pinch hit home run for Coburnis.
May have been a cutter that came back over the plate, and he nailed it. Yep. He was trying to get that in on his hands, and he left it on the plate. Guy hits it out of the ballpark.
Well, that's his first major league home run, and it comes here at Citizens Bank Park, and it cuts the lead to 2. Denard Span 0 for 2 will be the hitter. The Phillies do get bullpen action. Mike Adams will start to throw.
They're trying to get to Papelbon and not have to use Adams tonight, even get him up to throw. But after that run, got to think about having him up now.
1 ball, 1 strike. Right side of the infield has to be ready for Span. He's 0 for 3 with 3 ground balls to the right side. 2 to Howard, 1 to Franzen.
Trying to do a high hurdle on Ryan Howard last time.
Yeah. Fly ball, shallow left. Dominic Brown was positioned perfectly for the second out. Anthony Rendon's coming up. Let's check in with Murph with the Major League Notebook. Murph?
All right, Tom, brought to you by going to Mercy College. And a couple of Major League debuts happening tonight down in Atlanta. Mets rookie right-hander Zach Wheeler. Wheeler? Any relation?
That's the Atlanta family.
That's right. Well, he took the ball tonight against the Braves. The highly touted prospect. He went 6 innings, allowed 4 hits, allowed no runs, struck out 7, did walk 5 in his Major League debut. And in Boston, the Tampa Rays featured Will Myers for the first time in his career, 22-year-old outfielder 0 for 4 in that game. And guys, one injury note to pass on. Evan Gattis, the all-everything right now for the Atlanta Braves, catcher and outfielder, rookie, on the 15-day disabled list. He has a oblique strain that he got as a check swing when he was check swinging tonight. So he is headed to the DL.
All right, Murph, we appreciate that. You got a pretty good crowd behind you there.
Do we? Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. Still a good crowd here for the late hour.
Yeah, this game had an hour and 10-minute rain delay. But obviously some of the folks have remained. They're waiting for Murph's Major League Notebook.
I'm sure that's what they were. Hey, one other note, guys.
Yes,
Bryce Harper cleared for baseball activities as well, so good news for the Washington Nationals. He's wearing a brace right now on that damaged knee, but able to run, start running today. He's going to run tomorrow, then they're going to introduce some baseball activities, so he's getting closer to coming back as well.
Yeah, he had a sort of a platelet restoration. Dr. James Andrews did that, I guess it was last week, because he was bothered by that sore knee, aggravated that sore knee again. 1-2 the count to Rendon with 2 outs here in the 8th. The pitch from Lee. A ground ball foul.
Some of the problems they had last year, that Cliff had last year, couldn't quite get through the 8th inning a number of times, if you remember. And then the bullpen would come in and give it up in the 8th as a kid said, oh, I got it. How nice is that? Back here. So he really wants to get through this because you have Zimmerman on deck. It'd be the tying run if Rendon gets on base.
Here's the 1-2 again to Rendon. And he pops it up. Shallow right field. John Mayberry glides under it. And that'll do it for the top of the 8th inning. Cliff Lee allows the second home run, but it was a solo shot. His night might be done. But he's got 8 innings for the Phils. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Phillies lead is at 2.
Plays of the game. A lot of really good plays. Fun stuff in the game tonight. Here's a terrific play by LaRoche. We mentioned how quick he is. That was on Dominic Brown. Well, here's a big play of the game. Ben Revere running. Michael Young, a smash just over his glove, goes towards the right field corner. And later in that big inning the Phillies had, Jimmy Rollins avoids the bat at home plate, takes that big leap. Ted Barrett calls him safe. Exciting play there. And those are our defensive plays of the game from Hyundai.
Brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers. So now we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Phillies up 4-2. And they'll send Ryan Howard, Dominic Brown, and John Mayberry to the plate against right-hander Drew Storen. Howard's been hit by a pitch. He has a sacrifice fly, and he's also flied out to left. Stammen went a scoreless 7th inning. And now Storen. Cliff Lee looks like he's done.
He's having a good time. He's thanking Kevin Francis for the 2-run lead.
Jonathan Papelbon is behind Rod Nichols. It looks like he's ready to go. Start his warming up. And it's 1 ball and no strikes.
Yeah, save situation. Lee up around, what, 110 pitches, somewhere in that area. So that's it for him.
Pitch coming to Howard.
Howard with an RBI and a nice run they picked up in the 4th inning to tie the game. Double, get him over, get him in.
Hits that one sharply. It's a fair ball under the glove of LaRoche and going down to the corner. Howard on his way to second. He's thinking 3. He's around second and he's on his way. And he's going to get there standing. LaRoche is thinking that's a foul ball.
Yep. And everybody kind of froze on it too. Worth was way over. And Jason Worth, I think he thought it was a foul ball too because he didn't react real quickly. And watch right here. You see it goes down the line. Does it go over the bag?
It does. Boy, he kicked fair.
Yep, that thing goes over the back. And now Ryan Howard gets into the corner. Now, it's really hard for him to stop once he gets to third. Look here, right here. Look at him trying to drop anchor. And it's hard for him to do that.
Dominic Brown with the infield in. And it's 1 ball and no strikes. Wheels, I have to correct myself. One of my buddies just texted me.
Yeah.
I said Clint Eastwood in Deliverance. I meant Burt Reynolds.
I knew you said Clint Eastwood, but I couldn't remember who the other guy was. But I knew it wasn't Clint Eastwood.
You could have said Ned Beatty.
Well.
Here's the 1-0 pitch coming to Dominic Brown. 2-0. Clint Eastwood at least has acted over the last few years, so the youngsters might know him.
Yeah.
Burt Reynolds hasn't really done too much.
Movies aren't my thing; they're more yours. But I knew that he wasn't in that movie, but I couldn't have told you who it was. I just knew the song.
2 balls, 1 strike to Dominic Brown. Dominic struck out his last time with the bases loaded. He's got a runner at third, a fly ball, a deep fly ball could bring Howard home from third. Now they're going to play the infield back a little bit. They figure Howard's not going to go on contact.
Especially with nobody out and the type of runner that he is. There's a lot of ways to get him in from third right now, too. And there's several reasons why you don't run for him. You have a 2-run lead right now. You're into the 9th inning. You don't want to get caught like last night. We don't expect that to happen again. He hits a fly ball. If Dominic can hit a fly ball here, he can score easily on that if it's deep. That's why they just took the infield back, because they know he's not going to go.
Fly ball down the right field line. Worth will give it a look. It should hook into the crowd, and it does. And it's 3-2. Papelbon in the pen. He'll be called upon to preserve this game. Change up, and there's 1 away. It'll bring John Mayberry to the plate for the first time. Phillies Baseball Academy is open for boys and girls aged 6 to 14 to get professional coaching, skill development for Phillies players, coaches, and Baseball Academy instructors. It includes official Phillies Baseball Academy uniforms, a trip to Citizens Bank Park, 13 different locations. For information, call 610-520-3400, PhilliesCamps.com.
Still don't think they're going to run him on contact even with 1 out.
Seems like the Nationals are thinking the same thing. They
Yeah.
get the infield back.
And they also feel, Tom, if they do, they have time to throw him out because of the fact of the way he's running. So they're going to play halfway and not up. First thought, we got a leadoff triple at third. We're down by 2 already in the ninth. We got to bring the infield up. And then it was like they looked over there and thought, well, no, we don't, because of the runner involved. See why this guy was so good at one time. With this nasty stuff that he has, way above average fastball. He's throwing a great changeup for a strikeout, and he has that hard slider too.
Two guys from the same university, from Stanford University, Drew Storen and John Mayberry. And the 0-2. Check swing, flag down by Storen, and Howard goes back to third. 1-3 on the putout.
Well, last time the Phillies had bases loaded, nobody out, 2 outs, and Franson got a big hit. Here comes Kevin trying to do it again with 2 outs.
Trying to bring home Ryan Howard. This is what he did his last time, as Wheels was talking about.
And he did a great job getting ahead 2-0, and then he rips this ball to left. Almost a tremendous play by Lombardozzi. 1 run scored easily, and here comes Jimmy. Michael Young was telling him to get down. Of course, Young didn't realize the bat was there. Jimmy saw it and stepped over it and scored.
Franzen has hit his 6 consecutive games now with his 2-run singles last time. He bunts foul. He is a very good bunter. And Zimmerman was playing back behind the bag at third. Element of surprise.
Oh, that's all it was. Because he's been swinging the bat really well. That's exactly right. He figured, well, I can bunt it down to third baseline. Zimmerman's not going to throw me out, and he's certainly not going to throw Howard out. Because Ryan Howard would have been going on contact then with 2 outs.
Toyota Major League Scoreboard. It is a final down in Atlanta. Game 2 goes to the Mets 6-1. Marlon Byrd has picked it up offensively recently. Zach Wheeler wins his debut.
He's going 97. We were watching him early. Pretty good breaking ball too.
There's a dribbler up the third baseline foul.
You know, the Mets are having a lot of problems, but all of a sudden they have Harvey and this kid in their rotation. They're going to have fans come out just to watch them pitch.
Well, now apparently Wheeler is going to go back down tonight to AAA, but will be brought back up on the 25th, I think, of June.
Yeah, you would think they would want to get him up and have him as a gate attraction too, the way things are going for you. Give your fans a lot of interest. And those two are going to pitch. I figure we'll probably get Harvey here on Sunday.
He is scheduled to pitch Sunday. 1-2 to Franzen. Franzen lifts it to center field. It's playable for Denard Span. He puts it away. Phillies leave one over at third. Jonathan Papelbon will be on to try to pick up his 14th save and save it for Cliff Lee when we return. with the Rolling Stones performing across the street from Citizens Bank Park. We figured that'd be a nice theme for Cliff Lee's night tonight. He was dazzling. He didn't want anybody anywhere near him tonight.
He didn't want anybody on his cloud.
Nope. He's done after 8. He'll sit and watch as we go to the 9th. As Jonathan Papelbon will take over. 1 3-ball count tonight for Cliff Lee. That's it, just one.
And that was probably when he ran the 3-2 and got the call on the knees.
Right, to Ian Desmond.
To Ian Desmond, right. That was a 3-2 count.
Papelbon blew his first save last night. He'll try to pick up his 14th tonight. Freddie Galvis takes over at second for Kevin Franzen. And Ryan Zimmerman will lead it off for the Nationals. Phillies trying to get to within 2 games of 500 and drop the Nationals to 2 games under 500. It'll be Zimmerman, Worth, and LaRoche. Swings at the first pitch and fouls it back. It's 0-1. ...110 pitches, 82 strikes for Cliff Lee.
No walks and 9 strikeouts. Pretty good night.
Fastball inside, 1-1 to Zimmerman. Popped him up. Freddie Galvis at second base makes the call. Papelbon last night was 1 out away from picking up his 14th save when Chad Tracy, for the second time in 3 or 4 days, homered to tie a game for the Nationals. Tracy is still available tonight for Washington. And of course, Dominic Brown won it in the bottom of the 9th for the Phillies for their 5th straight win at home. Jason Worth homered back in the 4th, one of 2 homers for the Nationals tonight. Breaking ball and a split-fingered fastball from Papelbon to Worth. And that pitch just missed. Fly ball left field, playable for Dominic Brown at the track, and there are 2 outs. He kind of got Worth off balance on that. It was a split-fingered fastball.
And that's your point, Tom. That's why he got him off balance, because he lunged at a more of an off-speed pitch. That fastball he hit earlier tonight, a cutter, a fastball, he was right on it. Watch him lunge a little bit here. He fools him. Jason's always been a tremendous low ball hitter, and you see not that far from hitting it out of the ballpark, even though he was way out front.
So the Phillies are 1 out away from their 6th consecutive win.
Nice to have a guy like LaRoche come up here with, and he is not the tying run.
Their 6th consecutive win here at Citizens Bank Park. LaRoche is 1 for 3. Late on the first pitch fastball. May have been looking for something else. It's 0-1. Cliff Lee trying to get his 9th win of the year. 9th win without even Phillies aren't even at the halfway point of the season. And the 0-1 pitch. Fly ball right field. John Mayberry going over toward the corner, and he's not going to be able to get to it. He picks it up on a hop. So that means the tying run is going to come to the plate, and Ian Desmond. Davey Johnson talking with Steve McCaddy, pitching coach, probably trying to decide who they're going to get up to start warming in case they tie this game up. Desmond is 0 for 3. Phillies don't hold the road shot at first. Ground ball to third. That should do it. Michael Young flips to second for the 3rd time tonight. And the Phillies have won 6 consecutive games here at Citizens Bank Park as they defeat the Nationals 4-2 behind Cliff Lee and a whole lot of offense and some clutch hits tonight against these Washington Nationals. Oh, great night all around for Cliff Lee. Picked up his 9th victory of the season. Save number 14 for Jonathan Papelbon. And you just saw him a moment ago give a high five to Kevin Franzen, and he should. Franzen's 2-run, 2-out base hit earlier in the ball game was what gave the Phillies enough of a cushion to knock off these Washington Nationals. Michael Young had 3 doubles, which tied his career high. Had an RBI to boot. And one of his RBI doubles is our W. Mason delivery of the game.
Yeah, this is really the big hit for the Phillies here tonight. They're in a tie game at this point. Runner at first base, Ben Revere is off on a 3-2 count. He hits it right over LaRoche's head. Revere scores easily on that. Michael Young with one of his 3 doubles there at second base, and they turned it into 2 more in that inning, and that would basically win the game. That's our WB Mason deliveries of the game. What a night for Michael Young with those fans in the stands, Murph, that said they came all the way from Texas to see him play.
That's right. The sign is right over here, Mike. You see the sign that they came all the way from Texas to see you play tonight, and, well, you certainly did put on a show. So just talk a little bit. During the game, Chris Wheeler was saying it just looked like you were just locked in at the plate tonight.
I'm feeling a little better right now. Fortunately, I found some holes, faced the pitcher, really good stuff, and throws hard, a lot of late life on his ball, and like I said, just fortunate a couple fell in.
So the offense came to life tonight, and also you sit behind the guy and watch Cliff Lee do what he does night in and night out. Just talk about his effort.
I love playing behind Cliff. I mean, I've done it before. I've done it here in Philly, and I've loved it. I did it in the postseason with Texas. I loved it there, too. So, I mean, he's got great tempo, throws a ton of strikes. He can erase the time in a rain delay with the best of them. So we love anytime we got Cliff on the mound, we love our chances.
6 in a row here at Citizens Bank Park for this team. And, you know, it all starts with those kinds of streaks. How important is it to win in front of the home crowd and to really, you know, kind of get things going here at home?
It's very important, actually. You want to have a huge home field advantage every time you play at home. Last night we had an incredibly packed house. It was a lot of fun. I tell you, obviously with the rain, you know, put things back a little bit. But last night was a blast. If we can capitalize on playing our home ballpark, it's going to be big for us down the stretch.
All right, 2 in a row against the Nats, guys. We'll send it back upstairs.
All right, Murph, thank you very much. Yep, Michael Young had a great night. 3 doubles. It tied his career high, and with the victory, coupled with the Braves' 2 losses, the Phillies are 7 games out of the National League East in a virtual tie with the Washington Nationals. The final game of this series tomorrow night at 7:05. The Phillies win this one 4-2. We'll be back to talk more about it after this.